Today we're going to talk about turnaround times for drug testing results. How long should it take you to get a result back? So turnaround times is a question that we often get because people want to have a result right away. And in certain circumstances that's available, called an instant test. However, that's only going to be true if that instant test has a negative result. If there's any issue with the testing or if it's a non-negative on the screen, it will still need to go to the laboratory to be confirmed and possibly to a medical review officer to review that. So let's talk about what kind of turnaround times we have for lab-based tests. So for negative tests, it's usually available within 24 to 48 hours from being received at the laboratory. Now there's several things that go in though to turnaround times. One, when was the collection done? When was it shipped to the laboratory? When did the laboratory receive it? Was any kind of confirmation or additional testing needed? Was review by the medical review officer needed? Was contact with the donor to verify prescriptions needed? So all of these things go into how quickly a test result comes back. So when you're looking for an exact time, just know that you're not likely going to have that, but you can have a good idea. Most results are sent next business day, overnighted to the lab. So if you have a drug test that's collected during the morning, it's overnighted that day to the lab. The lab receives it between 4 and 6 a.m. in the morning. They start the testing. If it's a negative result, a clear negative, and everything goes smoothly, they're not missing anything, that result can come out that same morning. So literally less than 24 hours later, you can have that negative result. Now what happens though if that initial screen at the laboratory is a non-negative, meaning that something showed positive or there was something needing additional testing? Well, then it's going to go into confirmation testing the following day. So you have another day right there. So you can figure 48 to 72 hours for most tests. Now, if you have tests that include more expanded panels, you're testing 8, 12, 14, 16, 18 drugs, there may be multiple confirmations or level of testing needed. This can also delay the testing process. Now, once a drug test is confirmed at the laboratory, meaning they have an actual test that's validated and legally defensible, they will release that to the medical review officer, and then that process can go to contacting the donor. If there is a positive test, that donor contact is going to be required. If it's a negative test result, it's just going to be reviewed for quality control and then sent out to you. So those are a few things that go into turnaround times. Now, what could happen though? A normal drug test that's a normal negative result, how could it take 5 or 6 days legitimately? Well, say that the test was done on a Friday afternoon after the FedEx or the courier had already left the facility, say 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. Monday's a holiday. Nobody's shipping things over the weekend. It doesn't get shipped out to the laboratory till Tuesday. The laboratory receives it on Wednesday. So we got Friday to Wednesday already. They test it. They need confirmation testing. That's Thursday or Friday. So now we've got a whole week already in a totally legitimate situation. So whenever you're doing drug testing or sending in someone for a drug test, be aware that there are things that affect the timing of this test and the timing of the results. The other thing that you might want to be aware of, especially during the winter time, are storms. There are times that certain laboratories may be located in certain areas, or there may be airports located in certain areas that get snowed in, they get closed down, that they can't get that specimen out for some reason. So these are things, inclement weather type things, that can happen and delay the testing process. Going back to it though, most results, negative results, 85 to 90% should be within 24 to 48 hours if everything is done correctly. Other than that, there are some variables to account for. Thanks for joining us today on turnaround times and drug testing. Join us on our video. Make sure you like and subscribe below so you get updates on other videos that we have out. Also visit us on our blog at www.nationaldrugscreening.com for some great tools, resources, and articles to help you in your business.